The palace thought Prince Harry escaped the pressure. Meghan Markle thought America would finally crown them as untouchable global celebrities. But now, the same country they ran to just watched its own president publicly humiliate them in front of the entire world. And the most shocking part was not what Donald Trump said, it was how easily everybody laughed along with him. Because this was not just another political joke. This felt personal, calculated, like years of frustration, mockery, and royal resentment finally exploded into one brutal public takedown. Harry and Meghan once walked away from the monarchy believing they were escaping a toxic institution. They packed their bags, crossed the Atlantic, signed million-dollar deals, and tried to reinvent themselves as global power players. But somewhere along the way, the fairy tale started cracking. The interviews became complaints, the documentaries became accusations, the speeches became lectures, and suddenly, the couple who wanted privacy somehow became famous for never stopping talking. That contradiction followed them everywhere, even into the Oval Office.
Humiliation for the spare and his wife Meghan Markle. Donald Trump has had enough of them. Trump remarked to a British visitor when the conversation turned to Harry, "Can you take him back?" Wow. Everyone is fed up with the grifters.
Donald Trump has never been known for subtlety. He does not dance around controversy. He walks straight into it with gasoline in his hands. And when reporters brought up Harry and Meghan, Trump did not hesitate for even a second. He instantly shifted the blame toward Meghan, basically suggesting Harry was no longer thinking for himself anymore. Not the royal family, not media pressure. Meghan, that was the target. And the scary part? He said it so casually, like he was voicing what millions were already whispering online.
And the president was also blunt about Meghan Markle's influence on her husband, telling royal biographer Robert Hardman, that wife of his, boy, what's she done to that guy? He's not wrong.
But this did not happen randomly. Oh no, there was a trigger, a very public one. Around the same time King Charles was preparing for major international attention during his U.S. visit, Prince Harry suddenly appeared in Ukraine delivering speeches about global responsibility and American leadership. To some people, it looked noble. To others, it looked desperate, like Harry was trying to remind the world that he still mattered politically, that he was still influential, still royal enough to command headlines. But critics immediately noticed something strange. Harry no longer officially represents Britain. He no longer speaks on behalf of the monarchy. Yet there he was, stepping into global political conversations anyway. And that is exactly where the tension exploded.
This is a moment for American leadership. A moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations. Not out of charity, but out of its own enduring role in global security and strategic stability.
When reporters later asked Donald Trump about Harry's comments, the room expected a diplomatic answer, maybe respectful disagreement, maybe political neutrality. Instead, Trump delivered something far colder, a public dismissal disguised as humor. And the moment he started speaking, the atmosphere changed instantly.
We're all very much looking forward to. Prince Harry today has said that he would like to see you do more to end the war in Ukraine. Do you think it's appropriate for a royal to make those comments ahead of the visit on Monday?
Prince Harry?
Yes, sir.
How's he doing? How's his wife? Please give her my regards, okay? No, I don't know. I know one thing. Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK. That's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry. But I appreciate his advice very much. Great advice.
Trump's response landed like a slap wrapped inside a joke. Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK. That's for sure. That line alone shattered the illusion Harry still carried royal authority overseas. But then Trump twisted the knife deeper by sarcastically thanking Harry for his great advice. Everybody understood what was really happening. This was not praise. This was mockery. Open mockery. The President of the United States was publicly reducing a prince into a celebrity commentator with no real influence. And honestly, that may have hurt Harry more than outright criticism ever could, because ridicule destroys image faster than anger does. The timing made everything worse. King Charles was already preparing for his own high-profile interactions in America, and suddenly Harry's comments were overshadowed by Trump turning him into a punchline. Then came the moment that reportedly stunned insiders even more. During conversations connected to Charles's visit, Trump allegedly joked directly to the king himself, "Can you take him back?" Imagine that scene for a second. The President of America looking at the King of England and joking about returning his own son like an unwanted package. That room reportedly erupted with laughter. And that is what makes this story brutal, because humiliation always hits harder when everyone else joins in. Harry was no longer being treated like a respected former royal figure. He was being treated like the embarrassing family member nobody knows what to do with anymore. Meanwhile, Trump reportedly praised Prince William and Princess Catherine for continuing their royal duties through chaos and pressure. That comparison alone carried a hidden message. William and Catherine stayed, Harry and Meghan left. One side looked stable, the other looked messy. And here is the thing people forget. Trump's skepticism toward Meghan and Harry did not suddenly appear overnight. This tension has been building for years. Even before Megxit fully exploded, Trump openly questioned Meghan's influence over Harry. When discussions about immigration and royal titles surfaced after their move to America, Trump openly described Harry as someone being led around. That phrase spread everywhere because it fed directly into one of the internet's biggest ongoing narratives about the Sussex marriage. That Harry abandoned everything, his family, his country, his royal identity, under Meghan's influence. That comment alone became wildfire online. Some people laughed, others called it cruel. But either way, Trump knew exactly what he was doing. He was stripping Harry of strength publicly, reducing a former military prince into a man supposedly controlled behind closed doors. And the more Harry tried to defend himself publicly afterward, the worse the perception seemed to get, because every response only kept the story alive longer, and the criticism did not stop there. Trump went even further by openly questioning why Harry and Meghan were allowed to keep their royal titles after stepping away from royal duties. That topic has always been explosive because titles are not just decorations inside the monarchy. They represent status, loyalty, hierarchy, and identity. So when Trump publicly suggested Queen Elizabeth should have stripped them completely, it sounded less like a political opinion and more like someone validating the harshest royal critics in the world. Suddenly, the whispers became louder. Maybe the Sussexes wanted royal privileges without royal responsibility. Maybe they wanted the glamour without the burden. And once that narrative locked into public conversation, it became almost impossible to shake off. That line echoed everywhere because it touched the exact nerve Harry and Meghan have been trying to protect for years. Their entire brand still depends heavily on royal identity. But the interviews, the documentaries, the speeches, the headlines, all of it still circles back to the fact they are connected to the monarchy. Without that connection, they are no longer rebellious royals. They are simply celebrities competing in a crowded entertainment world. And deep down, people started wondering whether Harry secretly knows that too. Because for someone who wanted distance from the institution, he never fully let go of the royal label. Trump then dragged Queen Elizabeth into the conversation, and that changed the emotional temperature instantly. Because criticizing Meghan is one thing, but suggesting she disrespected the late Queen touches a sacred nerve for royal supporters. Trump openly said everybody loved the Queen and implied Meghan crossed a line by criticizing the institution surrounding her. To many royal loyalists, those comments sounded like confirmation of their worst suspicions, that Meghan entered the monarchy not to adapt to it, but to challenge it from within. Fair or unfair, that perception exploded online again the moment Trump revived it publicly. And then came the comparison nobody in the Sussex camp probably wanted to hear: Catherine, Princess of Wales. Because every time Meghan faces criticism, Catherine's image seems to rise even higher by contrast. Trump indirectly elevated William and Catherine as symbols of duty, restraint, and stability, while Harry and Meghan appeared wrapped in controversy and public drama. That contrast has haunted the Sussexes for years. William and Catherine rarely respond publicly. Harry and Meghan constantly explain themselves. William and Catherine appear calm under pressure. Harry and Meghan appear locked in endless battles with media, critics, relatives, and public opinion itself. And whether intentional or not, Trump amplified that divide in front of the world. Meanwhile, late-night television and comedy shows smelled blood instantly. Snell jumped on the story because honestly, the material was too easy. Former royals, public feuds, presidential insults, awkward interviews. America loves watching fallen icons become comedy material, and Harry and Meghan suddenly found themselves transformed from serious public figures into recurring punchlines. That transition is dangerous because once people start laughing at you consistently, rebuilding authority becomes almost impossible. Respect can survive criticism. It rarely survives mockery. And Harry tried to fight back. He appeared publicly, throwing subtle jokes toward Trump and leaning into comedy himself. But even that created another uncomfortable question. How did the prince who once represented the British crown at military ceremonies end up trading sarcastic jokes with television hosts just to defend himself politically? That image shocked many observers because it highlighted highlighted how dramatically Harry's life has changed since leaving royal duties. He once stood beside presidents as a senior royal. Now he was publicly sparring with one through entertainment shows. That difference was impossible to ignore. What makes this entire situation feel so brutal is the symbolism behind it. Harry left Britain believing America would become his safe haven, a fresh start, a place where he could escape royal pressure and finally build an independent identity. But now even America's political figures openly joke about him returning home. That irony is devastating. The man who once walked behind Queen Elizabeth at royal ceremonies is now the subject of Oval Office punchlines and internet memes. And for Meghan, the woman who was once presented as the monarchy's modern future, watching her husband publicly mocked as whipped by a former president must feel like a complete collapse of the glamorous image they worked so hard to build. But here is the most unsettling part of all. None of this feels finished. The tension between Harry, Meghan, the monarchy, the media, and political figures keeps growing instead of fading. Every interview creates another headline. Every speech sparks another backlash. Every public appearance becomes another battlefield for public opinion. And somewhere inside palace walls, you cannot help wondering whether royal insiders are quietly watching all of this unfold with stunned satisfaction. Because the couple who once threatened to expose the monarchy now seem trapped inside a completely different crisis. A slow public unraveling happening in real time under the spotlight they fought so hard to keep. And if Trump's comments proved anything, it is that Harry and Meghan are no longer protected by royal status, Hollywood glamour, or public sympathy the way they once were. Now they are simply exposed. And once the world starts laughing instead of listening, that may be the hardest comeback of all.